Hello, this is RC the Revenant.
And this is JD, the Arbiter.
We'll be casting a TVT today. I'm spawning in the top right corner as Terran. And JD will be spawning in the bottom left as Terran also.
In this game, I started listening to some German metal, Rammstein. Listen to fast music while you're playing StarCraft. It greatly improves your performance.
Yeah, I recommend some symphonic Radiohead. It's pretty cool. Even some of the really fast-paced stuff.
Just before this game started, the Revenant told me, "Dude, you always go tanks." And I said, "No, I don't. I'm going to show you what going tanks is." So that's what this game is. Just proving to him that I don't always go full-on tank.
So, are you ready to start, JD?
Yep.
Alright, pressing the start button in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright.
So here we have a little bit of lag for JD. His workers are being a little retarded.
Yeah, my computer lags at the very start of every game, so I lose about 15 seconds mining.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. StarCraft has like very high computer requirements. Let's see, what should we talk about? So it looks like I will be doing a supply depot on 10 in an attempt to be able to do constant SCV production. This is fairly standard. I'm not going to be doing anything tricky like an early gas timing. And for JD, he's also doing much of the same. Here he says, most epic supply depot ever.
Yes, that would be due to the German metal.
Of course.
I think I'm going to go gas first this game.
Oh, it looks like you are.
I go gas first.
You're still on...
gas first. The second your first barracks finishes, you can put down the factory, so...
That's true. It's very useful if you're trying to go for some kind of early tanks, even early Hellions for harass. Here you can see I'm doing a fast expand build, in which I just constantly make SCVs, and I build one barracks, and I begin saving up money to use to get a fast expansion, which will give me more income later on. And I forget, JD, did you do a fast expand this game?
No, I went for my normal expansion timing, which is around 7 minutes. 6:50 to 7 minutes.
Yeah. Or whenever I'm not killing you.
Well, yeah. Well, because you used to do that early marine pressure, and it would just kill my expansion the second it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got really into that whole marine Hellion timing push for a while.
Yeah, and then I got smart and started making tanks. But you can hold most early pushes as Terran if you have 1 or 2 tanks.
It's true. If you have two or so siege tanks out in siege tech at a decent time, then it's quite easy to take out a basic bioforce, especially if you have a wall ramped off as JD is doing. So here's my fast expand coming down. I'll probably be morphing this into a orbital command center as soon as it's done. And I'm just rallying Marines. I'm just now getting my gas on about 21 supply. I don't really remember what unit composition I'm going for this game, but I do know that JD is going for tanks, and more tanks.
You tried to steal my Marine Marauder 4 build.
Did I now?
Yep.
Here it is, the orbital command center coming down. I'm now on 2 racks. I could probably be doing better than that right now. Surprised I'm not putting down more barracks. Actually, my money is getting quite high. Maybe I'm preparing for an early third. Nope, actually I'm adding more barracks. Turns out my macro is just bad. Big surprise. Meanwhile, JD is securing an expansion. His initial tank is on the way. He's not yet researching siege tech.
Yeah, I have enough money right now to research siege tech. That's just bad macro on my part. I don't know what I'm looking at right. Oh, I'm probably trying to get the second gas up. Yeah, there. I was saving up for a second gas.
Yeah. Sorry to any of the audience that just saw my computer black out for a second. That happens sometimes when I sweep my mouse to the bottom right corner. So I apologize for that. I'll try not to do that.
Looks like RC is going for a third, right around the time my second is popping out.
And I am going for a third that's more at my front instead of the more traditional spot, which just goes kind of along the line of the right side of this map. Maybe this is indicating that I'm going to eventually go for some kind of mechanical play. Or I just randomly expanded there. So far, both of us getting... Well, I'm getting a lot of Marines. JD is doing more of a biomech style so far. In the production tab, for me it's Marines, Marines, Marines. Jacob is adding more production facilities. Crap. My macro. Macro. I am adding a 4th base in the usual place where I would have my 3rd, go figure. And my supply is slightly ahead of JD's at this point, but those tanks are going to count for a lot of firepower. Wow, I really need to add a lot more barracks. JD is
one of my better macro games in general.
Yeah, macro is the bane of my existence. If I could just have units and just micro them, that would be great.
Like,
it looks like JD is having a Marine sprint out to one of the watchtowers. So of course he can have a better view of anything that tries to attack him. Unless of course I sweep all the way around with a drop. What'd you say?
With one Marine try and get a little bit of vision. I don't look at the minimap as much as I should, but I like to have the security of knowing.
Okay, here my macro is finally stabilizing. I am on 8 racks and 1 factory. I'm doing Marine. I'm transitioning from Marines into Marine tank now. I'm also getting all my essential Marine upgrades. It does look like I am skipping Marauders for this game. Wow, I should have 13 racks. Oh my god, I could sow 13 racks so easily on 4 bases. Although I am being quite low to saturate my 3rd and 4th base.
Looks like my 3rd is just about to finish up. I think I'll be pulling FCV production from my 2nd onto my 3rd. And I'm just putting these tanks out in defensive locations. Try and defend an early push. Try and save this 3rd base in case it gets attacked.
It looks like you are queuing up a bunker to be made.
Yep, I put that in. I wanted to just play around with it a little bit,
Yeah.
see if it actually was used.
I would say bunkers are more useful for the early game if you're doing some kind of risky build from a militaristic standpoint where you don't have quite a lot of units, kind of like my fast expand, where you aren't going to have quite as much bulk of army as you would want early on in the game. And of course, one of the useful features of bunker is that you can salvage it for 75 resources out of the 100 that you spent on it. So that you can, use it for some, emergency defense and then just kind of sell it away. And we do see that JD is making more Marauders, and he's now getting his +1/+1, which is bad, considering I'm not, and I have the resources to do so.
This is the point in the game where my money is starting to skyrocket. I'm majorly supply blocked.
Yeah.
Every time I build more depots, I almost instantly shoot back up to max.
So I now have several tanks. I don't have siege tech yet though, because, well, I'm a terrible person. I am, however, now saturating all 4 of my bases.
Go to the income tab. Have about twice as many harvesters as I do. Did not hit the 14-minute max.
Oh, did I? Oh.
I hit 14-minute max on 176 supply.
Oh, I think what I meant was that when you queue up a bunch of units to be built, they count to the supply even though they haven't been built yet. So I think in the next production cycle, I'm at 200.
Alright. Oh, I see. Just put down these 2 armories, so I'm probably going to start. Got 1-1 for...
Yeah, it looks like in this game I am completely neglecting upgrades so far, in favor of expanding a lot. Jacob's also expanding a lot, although he doesn't have as many harvesters, but that is a scary amount of tanks. Jacob doing the legendary technique of making a bunker and not putting units inside of it.
I put 4 Marines in eventually.
Okay.
Here they go. Moving in now. Yeah. I'm just moving some tanks forward as well so that I can defend myself.
Wow, we are not being very aggressive this game. I'm also getting up a large number of tanks now. In the unit tab, we can see it's 94 SCVs against 57, 8 siege tanks against 12 siege tanks. Jacob has a Thor, I don't. And I have double the Marines.
Alternatively, I have 8 Marauders as well, so...
Yeah. Let's see.
With this, I have Stim, Seashell, and Sea Shield.
Alright, my armory just finishing. Maybe I'm going to start making Thors soon. I'm also getting vehicle and melee upgrades.
I am going for 1-1 for my vehicles and 2-2 for my infantry.
Yep. And you're starting Thor production. Do you ever have this problem where you, like, have a massive supply block at, like, 195 supply?
More like around 191.
Huh.
Alright, so here comes this
Yeah, I guess it changes.
Usually,
It changes depending on what your ratio of supply depots to supply drops are.
this is the first big push of the game, being a massive marine tank push from RC coming up, and I just went into like oh crap mode and boxed all my units, got ready to hit Sim. I just charged straight into all these tanks, and I lose my entire bio army because tanks are really overpowered.
Oh god, I feel like I'm gonna lose a lot of tanks. Oh yeah, you're gonna stim forward.
And then you just walk up into the slaughter.
See, I really here I should have moved my tanks forward and tried to get some support, but I just kind of lost half of everything I had. In the unit tab, I have 3 tanks and 12 marines and 94 SCVs. For any of you
I
who
have 14 marines, 2 marauders, 12 tanks, and 3 Thors.
For any of you who don't know, 94 SCVs is going way too far because effectively almost half of my supply is made of workers. This is very unfortunate. You're supposed to quit SCV production at about 65.
We've both completely neglected to notice that we have idle SCVs in our bases, not mining anything.
Yeah. Yeah, my 5th and my 6th just aren't mining much. Actually, no, my 5th is doing okay. I've got all my mules there. Well, here I am with my Thor production now. The initial wave of Thor is coming out. Should be very useful for dealing with those tanks if I had more of them. Here I'm able to deny one of JD's bases using my siege tanks. I'm not able to kill it, but I'm able to do some damage and stop him from mining there. And oftentimes in the late game, it comes down to who has more bases and who's able to deny the enemy's bases. Here I come in for a 22.5 minute re-attack, I guess you could say.
Finally seeing some marauders out of RC, and don't want the tanks. There's this expansion right here. I'm taking this forth right while you're about to attack me. But I don't think you kill it here. Oh, here come the tanks.
Yep, I keep the 3 and stop producing. Actually, wow, I have 11,000 resources right now, and I'm just not spending them. Oh, that is a lot of tanks. That is a lot of tanks. Okay, so I am able to do some damage, but that generally went very poorly for me. Oh, this is good. I'm able to catch some Thors off guard. And I subsequently walk back into tank fire. I should siege my tanks forward again, try to continue denying this base. I am currently on 6 bases to JD's 4.
Now my 2-2 for my vehicles is just out now.
I'm just starting 2-2 for both bio units and mechanical units. I'm making my more vulnerable expansions into planetaries. God, Jacob, that is a lot of tanks. I think I remember how this game goes. That's a lot of tanks. I should have swung around and... Okay, okay. I should have used my 4,000 gas and 9,000 minerals to just kill my whole army, make only tanks, and then just surround the map and contain. Because the one thing I do have right now is an economic advantage. It looks like I'm denying that base in the top left corner again. Hopefully I move those siege tanks down again to continue trying to do some damage. Here we go, another attack at the 26-minute mark. I'm able to destroy some tanks, but that went very poorly. I am dropping some mules to repair that Thor, but it looks like he's going to be destroyed.
And at this point, I just said, screw it, I'm moving out. And I took what army I had. I built a couple of command centers inside my base so that I could lift them up and put them at expansions.
Yep, I see you doing that. Another trick you can do is build them and then make them into orbital commands as soon as you can, even before lifting them off and landing them, because then you'll start massing up energy. Here I am going in with the tanks again, however I am losing an expansion. In this situation, in this game, against so much total mech, I really should have gone for something else besides, you know, a more bio-heavy composition. Banshees could have been really good. Battlecruisers would have been good. Generally, Thors are the only factory unit in the game that attacks air, and their anti-air is actually very poor. So I could have exploited that, and could have exploited the tank's inability to fight air at all. Oh, that one Thor. That Thor. It's on 4 health. It's gonna die. Don't die, Thor. Don't die. Oh, that Thor is a hero. That Thor has killed like 3 tanks. Here we have my 3-3 on the way. However, JD already has his 3-3 for both his unit types. And our supply is actually quite even, but you have to remember that I have a lot of workers.
Right here, I started to get a bit worried because I had just lost all my Thors, all my bio. But for whatever reason, these tanks never died. I don't think any of these tanks is going to die.
Yep, these tanks are very healthy. There's only 2 of them that have actually taken damage, as you can see by the health bars. Now, I don't really like this play here, JD. You're swinging down your tanks to the bottom right to do some damage, but it doesn't really fit with the containment style of mech. And by unsieging, you make yourselves vulnerable, and it does look like I'm going to take out a few tanks.
Well, what I was trying to do with this was, I knew you had the economic advantage, so I wanted to even out the playing field in that way. I figured if I could starve you of your active bases, I could bring myself back into the economic game.
Makes sense. Here I have a common problem where my planetary at the bottom right is producing SCVs, but they're not rallied to actually be mining.
There are still 3 siege tanks right at my third. Right
Yep,
outside.
I wish I had them blasting away. In fact, I could move them just a little bit and deny that base near the watchtower. Wait, maybe this isn't the game I thought about. I forget if I win or lose this one. Alright, here I am dropping a scan so that my tanks can attack.
I don't know why I haven't moved out to kill those 3 tanks, because my entire army is back right outside of my second.
Yeah. And here I have a lot of SCVs not really doing anything. I'm rebuilding my base in the bottom right. So this command center did escape and it's being repaired. Here I am. I have my siege tanks positioned so that any SCV that strays too far to one side of this mineral field is going to get shot at. Blasting away at the third base again. I'm once again maxed out, as is JD. I have a much more Thor-heavy composition now, after being able to clear up that supply. These SCVs, man, they are forever alone. But it's gonna be okay because they have 3 armor, which is it's actually kind of crazy. It means they can absorb like 2 tank shots or something.
Yeah, they can in fact absorb 2 tank shots. They could absorb 2 tank shots without the armor.
Wow, these SCVs, they've been working out. Looks like my SCVs have also been working out.
Yeah, they've got 45 health as opposed to a 3/3 tank which deals 44 damage.
Here I am. I'm trying to engage in this battle under the protective fire of my siege tanks. However, I only have 3 to JD's. Let's see. This is like 21 tanks. Oh god, run away! Run away! The tanks! The tanks! The tanks! The tanks! Oh my god. I'm worried. The tanks are so scary. In the income tab, you can see that both of us have almost no income. Actually, yeah, JD, you have no income at all.
Yep. Absolutely no income.
And I have very little. I don't really have enough to produce anything anymore.
Yeah.
Here's another one of my
At this
bases
point,
getting
I wasn't
swallowed.
seeing a lot of stuff coming back from you, so I figured you were out, and I just tried to kill off whatever bases I could find, and then this is the final push. I just pull up into the main here, and I'm gonna kill everything.
Excellent tank setup here. Excellent tank setup here, JD. This is a technique that I call leapfrogging with tanks, in which you siege some of them forward, and then the ones behind you unsiege and then re-siege. And the idea is that you never have any of your tanks, you never have all of your tanks or most of your tanks unsieged, and you use the protective fire of some of your tanks to defend the other tanks as they move forward. This Thor, man, he's not looking too happy. Oh, but he has a buddy. So here we have JD completely curb stomping me, 40 minutes in. I definitely could have played that game better. Oh, and there's even energy on my orbital commands I haven't been using. So I think we're going to see the GG from me pretty soon.
I like this kind of tank play. It's fun, it's really overpowered, and it's not too hard to accomplish. If RC had been going for a more air style, I would have died. I just wouldn't have been able to adjust fast enough. So just bear in mind that you're really weak against air if you're going to try and do something like this. But for the most part, it's a tank Thor with some bio is a really strong combination. You've got the fast DPS from the bio, and the damage absorption from your Thors. Very gas heavy, so you probably want to go double gas with all your expansions. But other than that, it's not too hard to support once you've got 3 or 4 bases up.
Yeah, a Marine Marauder tank Thor composition is very strong in the late game. As JD was kind of saying, the Marines and Marauders provide fast damage and mobility. The Thors are very strong, but very slow. And the tanks have great positional qualities, being able to siege up from a distance and pound away at enemy forces. So, because of all that, it's a very balanced composition, besides the kind of immobility and weakness to air. So, I do GG out of the game.
Yep. Now, I wouldn't try and do this again. This was mostly just to prove a point. Saying, I don't normally go tanks.
No, you go tanks like all the time.
Like this.
Yeah.
I would advocate going for 1 or 2 tanks just at the very beginning of the game to help defend against some of those early pushes.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of tanks, and me and JD do this kind of stuff a lot, where we kind of poke holes in each other's playstyles, and then on the following game, we'll kind of do something like extravagant to capitalize on it. One that comes to mind is one game JD wasn't expanding very much, so the next game I bunker rushed him in front of his base to deny his expansion. Just kind of stuff like that. So we do have a lot of wonky games, including the one where I built a giant wall of supply depots and did a 13 racks on 2 base. So we'll probably be bringing you more of those wacky games in the future. But for now, this is Revenant signing off.
The Arbiter.